Hey, welcome back to Ping Pong Flicks. My name is Chris Wong. Godzilla vs. Kong is coming out a long time from now. But that doesn't stop the excitement that is occurring in this huge monsterverse. So we know Godzilla 2, King of Monsters or King of the Monsters, directed by Michael Dougherty, is coming out in 2019, and I can't wait for it. But Zhang Ziyi has come on. I guess she is the head of Monarch, or a key Monarch figure, and she's gonna be in Godzilla 2 as well as Godzilla vs. Kong. Michael Dougherty even says it takes a village to raise a monster, meaning this is a lot of people. They're doing, I don't know if they're doing readings or table readings already, not sure, or they're just planning out the movie, not sure, but it's happening. Now on the internet, everybody's taking sides already, and we haven't even got Godzilla King of the Monsters. Who's gonna win? Godzilla is gonna win? Is King Kong gonna win? If you go back to the old King Kong versus Godzilla film, we all know, spoiler alert, King Kong wins. I mean, he's got the top title right there. And I think at that time, King Kong was very popular in America, even though this was Japanese made, but they cooperated with America in making this film. And I wonder if that had something to do with King Kong being the top winner. He was started to be a hero in this one, as opposed to Godzilla was bad guy in this universe before he started jumping up and down or flying in the air using his atomic breath. You know, it was before that time. So Godzilla was the bad guy and decided to make King Kong the good guy. But this is a different situation now. This is a different world. Who do you think would win? I know King Kong, he's more agile, yes, and he looks like he's more of a boxer. He looks like he could grapple very well. This version of Godzilla can also be more grappling. We already heard from Gareth Edwards that he fights like a bear. He utilizes his tail, of course, his atomic breath. But as you saw in Kong Skull Island, it seemed like Kong was able to withstand fire for a bit. He looked like he healed pretty quickly if you watch the movie very carefully, and he looks like he has the healing powers of like a Wolverine. And you are already saying that Kong Skull Island is smaller, but that is not necessarily the case, because that happened during the Vietnam era. By now he probably could have gotten larger and bigger, because he is kid of two adult Kongs, or something happens and a nuclear hits, something happens along that line that makes him a much bigger monster in the present time, able to go against Godzilla. I'm not saying who will win, who should win. Well, if you're looking at the studio's point of view, and I don't know if we should even think about the studio, but I'm throwing it in there anyway, because that was some of the conversation. Godzilla 2014, Box Office Mojo, Godzilla 2014 and King Kong on Kong Skull Island, they definitely came out incredibly well. The box office numbers are huge, especially worldwide totals. Domestically, Godzilla actually was better than Kong Skull Island. It made $200 million in the box office. Kong Skull Island made $167 million in the box office. But worldwide, unadjusted total, Kong Skull Island is way ahead at $565 million, and Godzilla did $529 million. And I think a lot of that have to do because internationally, especially in China, they want to see more action, less talking, and that's just how they are. Fast and the Furious, Pirates of the Caribbean, Transformers, just a lot of mishmash of action scenes without much storytelling, and I think that's the kind of movies that they like. And so that's why Kong Skull Island, which had a lot more action, a little more humor, it was a fun movie, but it didn't have the emotional depth and the non-humor, very serious tone that Godzilla 2014 has. So it looks like here that Kong Skull Island may have won the box office, and maybe studios may think worldwide people like Kong more. Maybe we should have him win. But in some cases, it looks like Godzilla 2014 still wins the box office. Michael Dougherty is doing Godzilla 2, and as I told you already, that Kong Skull Island's agile. Godzilla doesn't seem to be very agile. He's very big. His legs are really big. The Japanese people were complaining about his thighs, and maybe one day I'll go into what those Japanese notes were. But I mean, well, let's look at this toy that my son Ollie has. This one, it may not be a good representation. I think his legs were a lot much heavier in the movie, especially during the ending part of Godzilla 2014. But he's very small arms, short arms. It's going to be very hard for this guy to really fight Kong. Kong will be jumping all over him, and not all over him because he'll probably be the same size, but he'll be able to grapple this guy very well, and this guy won't be able to do much with his arms and stuff. His tail, for that matter, relatively long. He's able to whip it, just like how he killed the Muto in Godzilla 2014. But there's going to be changes, apparently, because Michael Dougherty went on Twitter and someone asked him, is Godzilla going to get any tweaks or redesigns from G14, Godzilla 2014? He said he is evolution in the flesh, so a little open-ended, but it kind of was probably alluding that this design may change, but not drastically, because that would be totally weird and will be like, what happened to Godzilla 2014? Is this Godzilla 98? What happened? But I'm thinking he's going to be a little bit more agile, maybe a little bit more meat in the arms. His evolution has turned him into a more incredible foe. Maybe after Godzilla 2, we'll see exactly where he turns out to be, either true friend or true foe, and then we can tell if he should win in Godzilla vs. Kong. Adam Wingard, who is now directing Godzilla vs. Kong, and as I said, the title is Godzilla vs. Kong as opposed to King Kong vs. Godzilla, and he reveals right from the get-go that he is a Godzilla fan. First thing he tweets out is Godzilla jumping up and down after it's been announced that he is directing Godzilla vs. Kong. And that doesn't stop there. He talks to fans and graciously talks to fans. I'm incredibly amazed how much he responds to people asking him questions about Godzilla especially, and he is a total Godzilla nerd just like us. Look at his top 5 movies. Godzilla, the Japanese version, versus Ghidorah, or Smog Monster if you like to call it, Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Everything is about Godzilla. He is a fan of this universe. He's tweeting about all the different moments he loves, the different Godzilla films that he loves, which was better, which is not. This is the man who's going to take over and say Godzilla vs. Kong. I honestly think Godzilla should win, and probably will win, in this Godzilla vs. Kong universe. And you know what? King Kong had his chance. He got by, and he was able to beat Godzilla in this film, and we got a film where King Kong wins. It's time for Godzilla to win the next time around. Clearly see how much love he has for this franchise, how much love he's going to put into Godzilla vs. Kong. If you ever thought for a second this is not the right guy, this is the total guy. I mean, how badass is that, where you have a complete nerd of this universe knowing full well what he has in his grasp, and he has that directing chops to be able to do it. A title like that, Godzilla vs. Kong, it's going to bring in a ton of people, it's going to bring a ton of fans, and I think the G fans are going to be the most happy about this. And like it or not, someone's got to win in this. I hope it's not one of those tie things where they're tied and if there is a monster at the end, fine, but I want a definitive winner before that happens. And you can argue with me like Kong is Batman, Godzilla is Superman. Well, in Batman vs. Superman, Superman was pulling his punches because he didn't want to kill Batman. He just wanted him to listen. But in this one, they're monsters, unless they're really listening, but monsters, and we don't know what's going to take to have them fight against each other. We'll know more as after Godzilla 2 what's really going to happen. Why is Kong fighting Godzilla, and how did Kong get so big? We're going to have those moments. I think we're going to have hints of it before Adam Wingard's movie comes out. But I gotta think, and I'm wondering if you guys think the same thing, where Godzilla is definitely should and will probably win in Godzilla vs. Kong. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know how that's going to actually happen. What kind of changes Godzilla's going to have in order to fight against this giant, agile, hairy creature who definitely looks like he could use weapons as well, or utilize things around him to use as weapons. If you watch Kong Skull Island, it's going to be a big fight. It's going to be a hard fight, but I think Godzilla will still come out on top. Alright, man. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.